Hello, my name is Aaron, and welcome to Board Games, Bricks, and Hobbies. This is a series where I take a quick look at one of the board games in my collection, and today we are looking at City of Horror. You know, it doesn't matter how many times I say that, it still sounds like I'm saying something inappropriate. So, this is a series where I take a look at one of the games in my collection and give my thoughts about it. I'll talk about my likes and dislikes, as well as if I think the game is going to stay in my collection, and whether or not I recommend it. So City of Horror is a zombie-themed game where each player has their own group of survivors, and you're just trying to fight your way through the next couple hours to make it to the helicopter that picks up all the survivors and saves everyone. It's a very mean and aggressive game. You are at each other's backs the whole time, and I really enjoy it. So let's have a quick look at the components and then talk about what I like. So, what do I like about the game? Well, I like the theme. Now, I know, zombies are overplayed at this point. I get that. However, this game is very much a game with zombies in it and not a zombie game. Allow me to explain. If you've seen the movie Warm Bodies, that's a movie with zombies in it. But I wouldn't necessarily call it a zombie movie. It's very much a rom-com. That's my opinion. And so that's kind of how I feel about this game. So even though there are zombies in it, the zombies really are a secondary antagonist. The main people you are fighting against are your fellow players and friends. And again, it's a very cutthroat game. You are at each other's backs the entire time fighting for survival. So really, the focus on this is on your fellow survivors, and the zombies are just a really, really big nuisance. But it just works. And again, I find the theme really well done. The cards and the actions and the things that you do in the game make sense. And so in this case, I really do think that the zombie theme works well. This is a follow-up to another game called Mall of Horror, which is essentially a simpler version. I prefer this one, but again, I'm in the minority on that, I think, as well. But anyway, I digress. The next thing that I like about it is the modular board, which you would saw in the component overview. I'm a huge fan of modular things in games, whether that be expansions or just boards. So the fact that you can rearrange the board, their tiles are double-sided, and you can do things like that, that really adds a lot of replayability to the game. So I like that you can mix and match that. And I also really like just how they integrated all the components onto the board. Almost everything in the game, from the supply cards to the clock cards for the helicopter, the vaccines and the zombie horde, everything has its own place on the board. And it makes it kind of nice because it frees up some table space because you're actually putting those items on the board in their own designated spots. So I like the modular board and just how it fits into the game overall. And the last thing that I really enjoy about this game, I kind of touched on, and that's just the player interaction. Again, this is a very mean and aggressive game, and I don't often win at it. Actually, I think I win a bit more at this one than other games. I don't usually win a lot of games, surprisingly. But anyway, I do like the amount of player interaction. You're always negotiating, and in this game, the negotiations can fall through, and I've seen someone make an offer for a trade. They'll say, hey, I'll give you a vaccine for a card, or if you give me this card, or if you give me this vaccine, I'll vote for you so that you can get more stuff, or I'll vote against you so that someone else gets thrown to the zombies. And I've seen the tables turn where someone goes back on their promise after getting the benefit and then still throws someone to the zombie, even though they promised not to do that. Obviously, once you do that, no one's going to trust you again in that game, but that could have been the points you needed to win. So it's a very cutthroat game with lots of player interaction, and I really do enjoy that. And just a really great game overall. So with that, let's talk about anything that I don't like about this game. Alright, so what do I dislike? Well, this is another game where I struggle teaching this game, and for some reason, I don't know what it is with this and Seven Wonders. Maybe it's the symbols, but for some reason, people who don't typically play board games, which I understand that not everyone does play as many board games as someone who's in the hobby, but for whatever reason, whether it's the symbols or just the way the game works, I have a hard time teaching this one, which is unfortunate because it goes up to 6 players, which I feel like is usually high for a game of this kind of complexity and length. But I really do enjoy it at all player counts. It's just unfortunate that it's a little hard to teach for me. But it's not really a negative on the game. Maybe it's just a commentary on my teaching skills. But anyway, another thing that I don't really care for is the component quality. The cardboard is decent, but the cards are really thin and flimsy. Most of mine are pretty worn out. But again, I don't, it's just not great components overall, but the game is really good overall. I don't have anything else that I don't like at this time. With that, let's go ahead and get to the verdict. So, what's the verdict on this one? Well, obviously I'm keeping it, and also it's pretty hard to find these days. So if you're looking for a copy, sorry, this one's not leaving me. But it's a really great game, and I would highly recommend it if you are into kind of negotiation style games that are a bit more complex than just a kind of a standard social deduction game or anything like that. This is a really great game. If you don't like cutthroat, backstabby games, you should definitely steer clear of this one because that's pretty much all it is. And if you can get over the fact that zombies are played out at this point, I think you would really enjoy this game. So I would recommend it. And once again, my name is Aaron. Thanks for watching the video. Be sure to check out other videos here on Board Games, Bricks, and Hobbies. And I hope to see you again in another one. Take care. Bye.